with a muted mic. Not any longer. Here I am. What's up, Kyle? Good afternoon. I almost said good morning. I'm sleepy. I'm slumbering. I'm going to drink some more of my soda. C. Fran asks, what's my LGS of choice? I'm in the North Metro. Got a lot of friends down south. Yeah, I'm in Florida, like St. Augustine area. Nice to see you, Dark Soul and everybody. My LGS of choice. I think it's a local chain. Well, it's not even a local chain. It's like just one store. It's Counterspell Games. They're in Orange Park. Some of my buddies, the Hobby Goblins, do a lot of events there. Pretty good at events at Counterspell Games. So shout out to them. I check them out. I think they're more catered to like running events. So their like inventory is not super good. What's up, Necro Goblin? So their inventory is not. I mean, they'll order whatever you need, but they don't always have as big of a stock as some other places. That's the main one I go to. Yeah, man. More Tyranid shenanigans. Speaking of Tyranid shenanigans. Wabam. Oh, I'm not even scrolled on our first list. My bad. Welcome, everybody. Glad you are here. It's an interesting time for Warhammer 40K because I think we are 18 VRL or bust, right? I think we are reaching the end of the edition if literally every single rumor on the internet is true. All right, Necro Goblin, I'm glad you're here for the time that you are. So the lists are going to be interesting. You know, I think we're going to see a lot of some things winding down, and then maybe towards the very, very end, we just do like a reflection stream on all of these cool lists or whatever, and we rate them. Where can we submit lists? I'm so glad you asked. Thank you so much for asking that. So here, I will do this. Oop, it's scuffed. Go onto YouTube. Go to Hiveline Hobbies where it says customize channel. Instead of doing that, because hopefully you're not logged into my YouTube account, go ahead and click subscribe. Like, comment, subscribe. And then scroll past all these posts that say don't put lists here. And then go to the one that says submit your list here. And then you can just click on one of these comments and then copy and paste your list in whatever list building format that you have. And then what I do whenever we're going to have one of these streams, I do sort by newest, and then I scroll all the way down to the bottom, Bapa Booey, and then I pick members first because we prioritize members a little bit just as a thank you to them, and then I pick from the earliest list and then going up. So yeah, that's how you do that. Thank you for asking. Speaking of, our first list of today is Hunter Nichols, King of Omnitron. I'm so glad that we are graced by royalty such as Hunter Nichols and the King of Omnitron. And he says, oh, and he is a member. Thank you for being a member, Hunter. Really, really appreciate it. It's awesome. You're helping me put Pepsi Zero in my Wednesday night Warhammer mug, so I appreciate it. He says, to follow up with your previous review of my King of the Colosseum list, the Psychophage was an improvement. Awesome. So this is a detachment that I struggle with immensely to make work in the Colosseum. I've tried several builds, and this seems to be the one that loses the least brutally. Yikes. Is it a lost cause, or do you have the secret key? I don't know. And it's Subterranean Assault. So I think Subterranean Assault is tough, right? Because I think Subterranean Assault is like a detachment that wants to be unfair, you know, and I think in King of the Colosseum, it almost kind of forces you to be fair just because of how many different restrictions that you have on it. So I do think that Subterranean Assault in King of the Colosseum is kind of an uphill battle. And also, if you think about it, like the main thing about King of the Colosseum is you want to get to your opponent quickly, and then you want to charge them, and then hopefully punch them in the face, and then win, right? Like, yes, there's mission play, but I think King of the Colosseum is kind of like you're punching each other. And Subterranean Assault gives you 6 inch charges, right? But I think you're just going to get like 6-inch charges in King of the Colosseum regardless, because the board is like super, super short. So by all means, we'll take a look at it. But I do think that Subterranean Assault maybe is just kind of, maybe you just don't run Subterranean Assault in King of the Colosseum, right? If Hyper Adapted Raveners, Hormagaunts, Biovore, Gene Stealers, and Raveners. Yeah, I don't know. It feels tough, right? Because I think you just run this in Vanguard Onslaught and it's infinitely better, you know? Because like the only thing that you're teleporting is the Gene Stealers, right? But if you think about Gene Stealers in Vanguard Onslaught, they just scout and then advance and charge, and then they're there. Then it's like way shorter than a 6-inch charge. Yeah, Kyle's exactly right. Advance and charge in Coliseum is OP. So like Gene Stealers scouting, advancing, and charging, you're going to get closer than a 6-inch charge. So unfortunately, I think Subterranean Assault is probably just a detachment that is just not going to work within King of the Colosseum, you know? And Seafran is right. I heard you can move luck and shut out deep strikes really effective with VRLs. Yeah, go check out that video. Talking all about Von Ryan's levers. Invader Boy Zim just lost a game against Orcs by 4 points. I'm sorry, dude. That's tough, man. What kind of primary were you doing? But yeah, this interesting review. Honestly, here's my review for this list. Hunter, was just play this in Vanguard Onslaught, and it's probably pretty good, right? I recently played. We had our 10,000 subscriber celebration stream on Wednesday Night Warhammer, and we played 3 back-to-back games of King of the Colosseum. It was really, really fun. So if you haven't checked out that stream or even subscribed on Wednesday Night Warhammer, check it out. At the very last game we did, I played against Tucker Ricky, who he hangs out with Art of War quite a bit. He's one of the best players that I've ever played. And I played a Vanguard Onslaught list, and it was basically like just run. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it was glorious. It was awesome. But Hunter Nichols, I hope that makes sense. You know, I hope you're still enjoying King of the Colosseum. It's a pretty fun format. I think it's definitely a format that is really, really kind of nice to play at this stage in the game that we're in. Like, I don't really think anybody's getting too many updates, you know, of rules or anything. I think it's just this is the addition, you know, and where everything has landed is where it's landed. And so for the next couple of months, what do? I think you test out different things and you play King of the Colosseum. Pyrovores and Carnifexes are actually really fun in King of the Colosseum. Yeah, I believe that. I think that's cool. Yeah, because Pyrovores don't really need to move too much. You can put them on either side and then just flame stuff. And the Carnifexes, I can imagine, are actually kind of tough to deal with. Here is Cummins Crawler. Here's a synaptic list, and Cummins Crawler is a member. Thank you again, Cummins Crawler, for being a member and supporting the stream. It is amazing that you are here. Here's a Synaptic Nexus list that forces Battleshock consistently at -2, and will give -3 to -4 on shadows, up to 9+ on all units. Crazy. I think there is like a limit on Battleshock. There is, and there isn't a limit. This is one of the things that I hope that they consolidate in 11th edition, whether or not Battleshock is a thing. You can give minuses to tests, and then you can reduce leadership. But I think you can like reduce leadership. I don't know. There's a whole thing. Supposedly you're only supposed to max that out at a 9, but there are certain rules that allow for a -1 to the roll. And so when you do that, you can actually reduce their leadership and give them a -1, and then it gets around that. But Battleshock Bonanza and Synaptic Nexus. I think Synaptic Nexus is sweet. I love it. We've got Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant, Neurotyrant with Power of the Hive Mind. This guy is, speaking of King of the Colosseum, the Neurotyrant with Power of the Hive Mind is the King of the Colosseum, for sure. Parasite of Mortrex with the Dirge Heart of Karis. So you're probably trying to stack like Death Leaper and Parasite together. That's neat. Parasite at 95 points is... that's a lot of points, honestly. Double Gargoyles, Biovore, Lictor, Maleceptor, Neurolictor, 1 Norn Emissary, Tyrant effects, and then 6 Zoanthropes. Yeah, it's pretty good. I how we have just one Norn emissary? I know it's cute, but like cute meaning not the best, right? But like I feel like 1 or 2 screamer killers would be really good in here, right? Because you have so many different ways, like the Neurolictors, or you have payoffs for Battle Shock, and you do have things that trigger Battle Shock, like Neurolictors, which is cool because you're going to do a bunch of mortals and stuff. But I think if you had like more things to trigger Battle Shocks, and honestly, this is going to be a controversial statement. I think you have too many lictors. You have 5 lictor variants. Death Leaper's he's super sweet, but I think like my first thing is I think we just like get rid of a lictor and get rid of a Neurolictor, boop, and then again I feel weird saying this, but like getting rid of lictors and putting in a screamer killer. Now, objectively, is that worse? Maybe. I don't know. But if we're leaning into the Battle Shock thing, and then we'll have 5 points left over. Did we have any other points after this? 1995. So we have 10 points. Cool. You also don't have too many things that like overly benefit from, like, I feel like you want things to attack and stuff. But honestly, I kind of like it at that. Let's see what else we could do. Double gargoyles. The Parasite of Mortrex is interesting. I think it's fine. Like it's like a third. Oh yeah. So even in that case, you had like 5. Yeah. Only having fun games with stupid lists until next edition. That's a good way to go. I think I like that. You know, I think you could do another thing. Like you could maybe look at one of the Maleceptors and then change it to the Screamer Killer and do something like that. But I think this would be a good start. I just think you had too many small units, which is kind of crazy. That's normally not what happens in these, right? I normally cut out a big guy, and then like split it into 2 lictors or something. But I think in your case, like just one more unit to like go around and do damage. Also, I think in Synaptic Nexus, I think Hyperdaptive Raveners are very, very good. I think Hyperdaptive Raveners are very good. Whether or not you join them, because they make use of all the buffs. They get a 5-up bend bone, they get +1 to hit, hitting on 2s, and they get +1 to their charge. So I guess they can't advance a charge, and then fallback shoot and charge with Hyperdaptive Raveners. Whew, that's very good. Arm of Contempt, Hyperdaptive Raveners, it's very good. Reroll 1s to that doesn't work. Reroll 1s to hit Hyperdaptive Raveners, it's pretty good. I like them. Try them out if you haven't. Like you could cut a Maleceptor and put a Hyperdaptive Ravener unit. Oh my gosh. The Screamer Killer is cute, but you like cut a Maleceptor and then cut the Screamer Killer and then do like 1 Hyperdaptive, one regular Ravener squad. Lots of ideas, you know? Another thing is like maybe try and cut a Maleceptor and trim elsewhere. Like if you did, if you cut Maleceptor, put one of these gargoyles down to a Hormigaunt squad, and then got a second Tyrannifex. I would actually kind of really like that. I think 2 Tyrannifexes is way better than 1. Of course, like duh, that's math. But I wouldn't cut the Norn. I think Norn's cool. But yeah, a lot of rambling, a lot of different stuff. Cummins, but thank you for submitting your list. Fell Leatherwing says, I do wish the new Prime worked in the Warrior Detachment. It does. Like, I know technically it doesn't, but obviously that's a mistake. I think if you were playing me and we were not like at a tournament or something and you were like, hey, can I put the Prime in a Warrior squad for the Warrior Detachment? I'm like, yes, of course you can. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if even tomorrow, and I'm not in the know, if even tomorrow they released a rules update or something and they said, here, the Prime can be doing this, you know? I think it's kind of like just hi from Madrid, Spain. Dude, hey, thanks for hanging out with us. I think it's just one of those silly things that, like, yes, technically by the rules, he can't be included in the Warrior Bioform Onslaught. But who are we kidding? Of course he can. He's a prime. He's a warrior. Jetting along. I just hate when Games Workshop does that. Like, just reread it. And then it takes like a month. Just reread it and fix it. Please. Give me access to the document. I'll fix it. Chat, did you hear that? If Games Workshop gives me access to the document, I'll fix a lot of things. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. If it make the new prime drop in points, I'm trying 3x20 Hormigons with 3 immediately. Dude, I think you should try it now, and see what happens. But I agree. I think he needs to be like 60 points, honestly. And that, to me, that's not an exaggeration. Like, the winged Tyranid prime is 65 points. This guy, in my opinion, is objectively worse than the winged Tyranid prime. Put him at 60 points. It's fine. Although he does hit harder. One True Dark Soul. I think he's hanging out in chat. Thanks for being here, and thanks for being a member, man. Yeah, I think a rules update is coming. I think there's a couple of things that need to be patched. I think the Tyranid Prime needs to be patched. I think that Twin Lance needs to be patched. I think Catan need to probably not be in the game. I'm just kidding. But I think there's a couple of things that need to be patched. And maybe since they've released the data sheets of like the Defiler and the Chaos guys, by the way, those things are busted. They're so good. Maybe since they released the data sheets of those, maybe they will overhaul a bunch of rules, like maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. They like to do Wednesdays as rule changes. And they also like to scoop up a whole bunch of rules all at once. They don't like to do one or two things. No, Twin Lance needs to be just gutted, dude. It's got too many, it moves too many times. It's got too many moves. Okay? It's crazy. Necrogoblin, I think, I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time crafting my tinfoil hat, but I do think that there's going to be small rules adjustments. I do. Twin Lance is nuts. Yep. It is epic. For one person playing the game. One True Dark Soul. Hey, today I bring you a little list. I want to try the next days. It's made for a limit of 1,500 points. The enhancement on the Narrow Tyrant is because I had 10 points left. That means he probably did like a really bad enhancement. Okay, yeah, he did null nodes. He's like, Jordan, please don't yell at me for running null nodes. I just had 10 points. Okay, that's funny. Crusher's 10p. Sweet. We got Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant with Enraged Reserves. Is that the fight on death, or is that... I forget. Null nodes, Biovore, Excrin, Lictor, Maleceptor, Neurolictor, Norn Emissary, Tyrannifex. Jordan, contain your anger, please. One True Dark Soul is Enraged with Reserves, the fight on death. Isn't it like it's like on a 3-up or a 2-up or something? So it's 1,500 points. 3-up fight on death. I think you have too much small stuff, which is like weird. But like, I almost want to, like, if you're at 1,500 points, I almost want to just like jam double Norn Emissary and be like, can you deal with 2 Norn Emissaries at 1,500 points? And sometimes the answer is no, But I think this is a really good list because you're going with like good Tyranid cores. Another thing that I'm thinking, like, do we need the Narrow Tyrant? You could do something like, I mean, if we cut the Narrow Tyrant, then we start doing things like cutting the Narrow Lictor, Let them drown in the tide. Yeah, but if you're a Crusher Stampede, I feel like at 1,500 points, you really just want to push the skew and just be kind of rude, right? So, like, I think there's, yeah, it is Crusher. So there's a couple of things, like, if you dropped the Lictor and you dropped the Narrow Tyrant, then you can just get a second Maleceptor. Like, that's pretty good. Narrow plus enhancement into Tyrant Guard. Tyrant Guard are spicy. So we did that. That's kind of like my knee jerk, right? So we would actually probably want to drop the Neuro Lictor. Unless you really want to still play like Battle Shock stuff. I figured like at the end of the edition, I'm like, I'm not really going to try too much with Shadow in the Warp. And then in Rage Reserves, maybe we have enough points to fit in. Are we right at 1,500? Yeah, we're right at 1,500. So let's do that. I think I'm going to drop Neuro Lictor and Neuro Tyrant, and we're going to be at 185. Is Neuro Tyrant good without Zoanthropes? I mean, I think yes and no, right? And I'm just checking to see how many points in Rage Reserves. Chat, we're gonna race. Chat, let's see who can tell. If I can find out how many points in Rage Reserves is before you can. Ooh, I'm racing. Oh, I think I'm gonna beat you guys. Hive Tyrant. 20. Ah, dang it. I almost beat you, chat. Let's see. That's 20 points. Okay. Dang it, chat. Chat has always beaten me. So we could do, we could do something stupid like go down to 15, right? And then create a second Maliceptor. And then drop Enraged Reserves. And then that's at 35. And then you just get like a Ripper Swarm, which seems silly, but honestly, like Ripper Swarms. And then you're 10 points under, but I think you're fine. Ripper Swarms are good for multiple reasons. Like, yes, you can score some secondaries with them. Area Denial, of course, and then engage on all fronts and then behind enemy lines. But I think there's a lot of merit to having units and just having bases and models to screen your backfield. You know, you just drop a Ripper Swarm in and to screen your backfield, especially when like this entire list is just going to want to push forward into your opponent's lines, right? And if you just have a 40 mil base like Ripper Swarms to just drop and screen out an area, I think it's really good. A Ripper Swarm in D-Stripe is nice. Yeah. I'm wondering if there is a Discord we can share our lists and stuff. Yeah. Currently we're you can check out the Wednesday night Warhammer. That's where the Tyranid army list originated before we moved over here. So I would recommend checking out the Wednesday night Warhammer Discord. And there's a lot of really cool people in there, including like a bunch of people in here. What's up, Benjamin Thorley? It's been a long time, man. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for popping in chat. I hope everything's been great for you. And Yaponis is saying 3 Ripper Swarms could do good damage in a Simulation Swarm by using Stratagem for Lethals. Man, I wish I could see like your opponent's face when you start when you use the lethal strat on Ripper Swarms and you just munch people up. That's pretty sweet. That's a cool idea. I've never thought of that. Awesome, Ben. Good to see. Of course, One True Dark Soul. Thank you for the continued support, man. For the 25th preview show, I think they're going to show a teaser video for 11th edition like they did for Leviathan for 10th edition, where there's a bunch of Tyranids fighting Space Marines in, what's his face? Gilliman is like, we beat the Xenos, we fight, we poop and pee, whatever he said. And then like Tyranids are fighting, and then like it jump cuts back and forth. But I think it's going to be orcs. You know, and then they do like jump cuts between like Space Marines and Astro Militarian fighting together or something. That's what I think. What's up, Hollow? Oh yeah, dude. Good to see you. Man, we got a bunch of old heads in chat. This is awesome. Okay, cool. But what my hope is for 25th preview, yeah, the vote against who wins was pretty fun. That was pretty cool. My hope is they discuss some type of rules, you know? Do you think of maybe other Nid kill team being Warriors? Is there rumors of another Tyranid kill team coming out? That'd be cool. I think Warriors would make sense. I feel like Warriors have been receiving a lot of love recently. I guess just the Prime, but they haven't gotten a resculpt. What would be really cool? This would be an amazing box if they did a probably not. Yeah, there's a lot of rumors of new terrain rules, but if they did a kill team box with like 3 Tyranid warriors and then a resculpt of gargoyles, then all you people watching would have no excuse to not run gargoyles. You know? Would Zoanthropes with Narrow Tyrant be better than a Norn? It really, really, really depends on the context of the rest of the list and everything. Zerg Rush. I play WC terrain and am tired of just dying because my main opponent running Custodes always rolls hot. I think this could work. So I am not like super familiar with WTC terrain. I feel like WTC terrain has a lot more staging areas in some layouts. And maybe that's why you're having a hard time, because depending on what Custodes list he's running, if he's running the triple Land Raider Custodes list, it's going to be really tough, right? Like, because I think Tyranids kind of struggle into that list, and it's kind of bleh. But let's see what you got, and I'll send you whatever information or thoughts I have. It's Invasion Fleet. We've got Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant with Adaptive Biology, 2 Gargoyles. There you go. Biovore, triple Exocrine, 1 Lictor, double Maleceptor, Norn Emissary, Tyranifex. Yeah. If he's running at you, this is tough, because like these are all good units, right? But I don't think they can't defend well against somebody if they're just gonna just straight bolt at you. So I think if you're having trouble with Custodes, I think a unit that you could add which would help a lot is Gene Stealers. And I think, especially like if you're worried about Custodes and being run down like that, I think cutting the Norn, which is sad. Everybody pour one out. 07's in chat for cutting the Norn. We've got 260 points, and then we're going to use 220 of it, I believe, to do Gene Stealers times 10, and then a Broodlord. Honestly, like I'm going to make a video about my favorite units throughout the entire edition. Consistently, I think Gene Stealers with a Broodlord have been one of our best units. Yeah, for sure. So this would be going down to 40. Let's see if there's anything else about the list. I think the list is good. I think one more thing we probably want is we want a second lone op. Well, I mean, I guess we have Death Leaper. But if we had a third lone op, I think it would be good. Like, because I think Death Leaper does count as a lone op. But I think in ways we want to be a little bit more strategic with Death Leaper, and we don't really want to trade with Death Leaper as easily as we would trade with just a regular Lictor. So with the 40 points we would have left over, what I would suggest is just getting another Lictor. Boom. And the other 20 points we'll be getting is shifting these gargoyles to Hormigons. Then I really, really like this list. I think this list is quite strong if you do those things. We've got Broodlord, Death Leaper, Hive Tyrant, Gargoyles, Hormigantes, as I like to say, Biovore, triple Exocrine, Gene Stealers, Lictor, Maleceptor, double T-Fex. Yeah, this list makes me want to play Invasion Fleet again. Somebody say, no, Jordan, don't do it. No, don't do Invasion Fleet. Kill team 10 Rippers and 1 Carnifex. Ben, I think our first super chat on the channel ever. Thank you so much. I'm getting the drag in the background for this. Oh, dude, look at my Harridan, man. Ta-da! I love my Harridan. So those of you that were joined a little bit later, we had a thank you again, Benjamin, by the way. I really, really appreciate that, man. That's so cool of you. Wednesday Night Warhammer. had our 10,000 subscriber stream, and on the first game we did 3 different streams, and the first one I brought the Harridan against Kyle. If he's still in chat, he was playing Orcs and I was playing the Harridan. It was awesome. Battle Barn was playing Vanguard on stream on Friday. You guys should check it out. Battle Barn, there's some good people over there. Battle Barn, I wish we could play a game. I think you're a little bit of a commute for me, but it would be cool to hang, man. Good luck on the game. And did you put those exocrines back in? Are you? I saw a list that I actually really liked. It was just zoanthropes. Maybe we'll see something like that going forward. All right. Thank you again to Zerg Rush. Moving right along, Ethan Bygate. He says, Norn Hub send Norns. So I'm assuming, yep. Yeah, I see. We're in Assimilation Swarm, Death Leaper, Winged Hive Tyrant with Biophagic Flow. Oh, I really like this list so far. Biovore, 2 Pyrovores. I think 2 Pyrovores is 70 points though, right? A Maleceptor, double Norn Assimilator, 3 Norn Emissary, Psychophage. You want to use the Flyrant and the Maleceptor along with healing and adding a 4-up Feel No Pain. Oh, right, on the objective. 5-up Feel No Pain stratagems to keep your Norns alive, then outscore your opponent on primary 1 through 4, gaining a lead that they can't back from. This is a similar list to another YouTuber. Yeah, dude, I think it's a really, really cool strategy. I think it makes sense, man. I think the only thing that I don't love is I just think we're low on lone ops. I think in a list like this, we would actually really, really benefit from having something like Von Ryan's Leapers, which would be sweet. So like, it might be a weird, again, I think 2 Pyrovores is 70, not 80 points. Like you could just cut the Pyrovores and then sub in some Von Ryan's Leapers just to screen out areas, because this list really wants to be on its objectives, right? And if your opponent is able to screen you out and say, no, you can't get on objectives, then that's really not good for you. But I think the rest of the list and the idea is awesome. Could be 2 times 1 Pyrovore at 2 times 40. Yeah, that's another good thing. But I would try and cut the Pyrovores for a squad of Von Ryan's Leapers or something like that to screen. I do like multiple Harvesters, but I mean, here's my reasoning as to why we might not need multiple Harvesters, is because the Assimilators are pairing up with a Norn, right? Each Assimilator is pairing up with a Norn, probably. And then the Psychophage is going to go with the 3rd Norn and probably with a Maleceptor. So, like, we have so few units that, in this case, we actually, in my opinion, we don't need a whole bunch of singleton, like, Harvester units going around. Unless we were trying to, like, you know, do additional regrowths and stuff. But yeah, Ethan, I don't have really any other notes. I think for like a skew, like what you're trying to do here, I think this is pretty much it, with maybe finding out if we need those 2 Pyrovores as a flex pick, or if we can use them for something to like establish board control early on with like Von Ryan Sleepers. Yeah, Battle Barn. So I do want to go to the UK. I do want to go see Warhammer World and do all those things. I saw you guys had like a year celebration at Warhammer World. That sounds sweet. Battle Barn, if you have a Discord, I'll try and find your Discord and we can I'll send you a DM or something. Maybe we can work something out. That would be fun. Red Terror being funny, dude. If they do Red Terror as a part of a kill team, oh, that would be so good. Bring him back. A list like this, got really far, won a small tournament. I believe it. Yep. Small Harvesters for die and get bonus. Oh, okay, so that's another good thing. Yeah, you can just send them out to die, and then your Norns get +1 to +1. Is it +1 to wound or +1 to hit and wound? That's another good idea. Oh yeah, was that Craig? Yeah. Sweet, man. Nobody's running 9 Biovores. Hey, you can be a trendsetter, Ark, you know? Nobody's running it because you're not. Okay, moving right along. David, personal trainer, 3284. Hey, Jordan. Hope I'm not too late for this. Here is my take on Invasion Fleet. Would be great to hear your thoughts. Angry bugs from space. Sweet. We've got Broodlord, Deathleaper, Hive Tyrant with Adaptive Biology. Ooh, a Tervagon. Very spicy. Gargoyles, Termagants. This is the correct Termagant loadout, by the way. 2 Strangle Web and Termagant Spine Fist. The Strangle Webs, of course, the Flamers, and the Spine Fist, the Spine Fist. 1 Exocrine, Genestealer, Maleceptor, Neurogants, Neurolictor, Tyranifex, Von Ryan's Leapers. How many Lictors do we have? If we could have, so like my one thing that is sticking out in Tyranids, I feel like in most lists, almost all lists, maybe not like Subterranean Assault, maybe not in Assimilation or Synaptics, but I think most like standard lists, you're going to want to run double Exocrine. Like 2 Exocrines is kind of where you want to be. And we only have 1 Lictor, it looks like. All right, in my opinion, I think you can just run the Tervagon. Or no, you can just run the 20 Termagants without the Tervagon support. Because, and this is really sad, like Hive Tyrant is kind of just making Tervagon look kind of not good. Because the Hive Tyrant can regrow Termagants, right? The Hive Tyrant gives Termagants the lethal aura. Literally, there's nothing the Tervagon does that the Hive Tyrant doesn't do. That's the truth. Like, so I know the Tervagon is cool, and if you're running it in the list, it's for a reason, right? But I would probably drop the Tervagon. Let's see what we can do. If we drop the Tervagon. Oh, I kind of know what we're doing. All right, so we dropped Tervagon. We have 160 points. Ooh, and then you have some text down there. I'll read it in a second. And then we're going to do 140 points to just get a second Exocrine. Like, I don't know. I never really know how to use Genestealers and Von Ryans effectively and where to deploy. Genestealers I often find get killed or neutered before they can put any work in. I did, and I'm going to stop shilling for myself, but I did just release a video on Von Ryans talking about them and just a little bit of those problems. Not necessarily positioning, but a little bit of those issues. And then for Genestealers, you never... So here's my thing. I don't think Genestealers are a first punch unit. Never first punch with Genestealers. I really think that you want to like punch back with Genestealers. If you are sending your Genestealers out as a primary attack, you're going to put yourself in a position where the Genestealers are just going to trade downwards. I think Genestealers are one of your most important units in Invasion Fleet, and really, really kind of protect them until they're able to just like go out and smack something really hard. So I would play very, very careful with your Genestealers and use things like the or not the Neurolictors necessarily, the Termagants. Make the Termagants be annoying enough where your opponent has to send something worthwhile to come out and get, and then your Genestealers jump right in front and then they attack, right? Or like a Maleceptor. If you put your Genestealers directly behind a Maleceptor, and the Maleceptor is on the center objective, and you threaten the Genestealers to heroic into whatever the Maleceptor or whatever's going to charge the Maleceptor, that's pretty annoying, honestly. So we have 20 points left over after cutting the Tervagon. And here's what I would do with that 20 points. I don't think we really need any more screening because we have 20 Termagants. I would cut the Neurogants and then just get a Lictor, and that would wrap up your list very nicely. But some really cool ideas. I think Von Ryan Sleepers are better than what they appear. Neurolictors are great. Maleceptors are great. Genestealers, in my opinion, Genestealers I think are one of our best units in the entire Codex. Like, if you think zooming out on a consistency base for the entire edition, I definitely think Genestealers have just been like, just performing, you know? So yeah, cool list. Battle Barn does have it's in your video description. Jump in. Awesome. Yeah. That's awesome, man. I appreciate the offer. Yeah. I'll hit you up on Discord and let's hang. That would be sweet, dude. Thank you for your kind words. Don't sleep on the strangle webs. Yeah, no, dude. It's a torrent weapon. And with like, 40 attacks, I guess it would be at that point, 36 attacks from all the Termagants. It is an Overwatch of some kind. Yeah. Yeah, I think the Turvagon just needs love. I don't think they hit the mark right with the Turvagon. We got 2 more lists. I just think the Turvagon needs to be redone. It just doesn't do what it's supposed to do, especially because the Hive Tyrant just does its job. Now, I'm worried that when I say that, they're going to be like, oh, let's nerf the Hive Tyrant. No, please don't nerf the Hive Tyrant. Just the Turvagon just needs to be better. If the Turvagon was like our transport in a way, for Termagons, that could be interesting. Yeah, and it absolutely should have Lone Op. Dude, if the Lion gets Lone Op, six or 7 devs on Magnus. Oh yeah, I forgot the Strangleweb has dev wounds. It's like a Weber from Genestealer Cult. Okay, we have 2 more lists. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. This has been a chill stream, a good time. At 3-inch for Turvagon ability, and it'd be good. Oh, you mean for lethals? Here's I Have Bomb 1506. He says, I'm also wanting to try coming back to Invasion Fleet, as I've mostly played Crusher. Awesome. And his list name is You Shall Not Pass Battleshock. Okay. He wins. He wins today. Good job. Lots of Invasion Fleet today. That's kind of cool. Broodlord, Hive Tyrant with Adapt Biology, Neurotyrant, 2x10 Hormagaunts, Biovore, 2 Exocrines, Genestealers, Lictor, 1 Maliceptor, Norn Emissary, a Pyrovore, Tyranifex. Yeah, this is great. That's good. That's very boring. I always feel bad when I'm like, yeah, this is a good list. The one thing I would say, really look at whether or not you need the Neurotyrant, right? That's another video that I'm going to be working on soon, is like, do we need to run the Neurotyrant? Because, like, think about this. You could cut the Neurotyrant and cut the Pyrovores and get a 3rd Exocrine. That seems pretty good. Of course, if you still want to buff Shadow in the Warp, and if you're worried about Synapse, then yeah, do that. But I don't know, man. I feel like we don't really need the Neurotyrant unless it's attached to Zoanthropes, or unless you're like really, really, really going for like Battleshock shenanigans. Like if you're really, really, really trying to stack up a whole bunch of different things and then go from there. Otherwise, I mean, just because it's not like a definitive thing, right? Like your opponent, your opponent could just roll really high on all of their Shadow in the Warp tests and then it does nothing. However, an Exocrine coming out from reserves, like a 3rd Exocrine and covering a different angle, that seems pretty good for me. If you are, if you really like the Neurotyrant, keep it in there, of course. But I would suggest dropping the Neurotyrant and Pyrovore for a 3rd Exocrine. In 9th edition, Turvagon had a rule akin to Lone. Yeah, I remember that, but lost it going. Yeah. It was like if it's next to like 10 Termagants or something, then it would be Lone Op. This is called Do No Battleshock. Throw it. Yeah, I was expecting a whole bunch of Battleshock shenanigans. But it just had Neurotyrant. Are you always sticking to at least 1 squad of Gargs in your list these days, or do you think 2x10s Hormagaunts are enough? I think I've done 2x10 Hormagaunts quite often. I think for Invasion Fleet, like my list that I really liked, well, I had a couple. It was like Triple Maliceptor had I think 1 Gargoyle and 2 Hormagaunts. That's been pretty good too. I think it all depends, if you're whatever you're trying to screen, whatever you're trying to hide. But I do think 2x10s. I've come around to Hormagaunts quite a bit, because they are kind of good. Advance and charge and 2 OC apiece that's pretty strong. I do like that. Yeah. So I think 2 Hormagaunts is a pretty good, substitute for Gargoyles. But like one Gargoyle squad and one squad of Hormagaunts is also good as well. All right, last list of today. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me. It's been a good one. Whoa, Caleb! Oh my gosh, $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey Jordan, glad I could catch your stream to distract me from work. It would be sick if you could review my list that I'm bringing to a GT this weekend. Yeah, Caleb, I will add it to the stream right now. Have you posted it in the Hive Mind Hobbies post? If so, we'll take a look at it. We'll do a brief sojourn, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at it. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, man. You're incredible. It is posted. Okay, let me do this last one, and then in fact, let me just go grab it real quick, and then we'll just knock them out too. But thank you again, Caleb. That's incredible. I really, really appreciate it. Ooh, that's the wrong stream. We are back. ElitePugman. Yeah, we'll get it. You'll be the last list we review today, K-Rib. Thank you again, dude. I really, really appreciate the support. That's awesome of you. Hi, Jordan. I love the list reviews you've been doing for the other bug peeps. Keep it up. And I like that cute little caterpillar. This list was one I was testing out against Grey Knights, and I've actually won the 2 games I've played. The whole thing with the list is supposed to battle shock everyone in the mortal wounds, but that's not exactly what's happening. So I think I'm just not getting lucky, maybe, or maybe just getting lucky in the score. I need to be able to beat Terminators. Everything else gets blasted by the Tyrant effects. I'm perfectly fine with switching back to Invasion Fleet, as I honestly think it's better than Synaptic Nexus. Well, with what you're saying that you're trying to do, I feel like with Mortals, I think Synaptic Nexus is better because it's like our only source of quote unquote consistent Mortals, not necessarily super consistent, but let's see what you got. Neurotyrant, Tervigon with Synaptic Control, very interesting. 20 Hormagaunts, 40 Termagants, very cool. Are we trying to do like 5-up Invulns on the Termagants? Maybe. Barbagants, Biovore. Carnifexes. Interesting. Neurolictor, Norn, Emissary, Psychophage, 2 Rippers, Screamer Killer, a Sporocyst. Wow. Yes, it is a Harridan hero. I played a game on Wednesday Night Warhammer this past weekend. It was against Orcs. It was a really good time. You should check it out. It was a great stream. Yeah, 5-up invulnerable saves on Termagants is very, very annoying. I agree. And then 3 Zoanthropes. Okay. Well, ElitePugman. I think there's a couple of things. Like looking at. What else can we get him to do? So I think a couple of these units just don't quite fit within Synaptic Nexus. And if you're wanting to do like Battle Shock stuff, like I see you see 1 Screamer Killer, but like having 2. So just quick things like I'm gonna cut 3 units, and I'm gonna let you know why. Sporocyst, yeah. So I think we generally, if we're going for a more competitive list, we're gonna want to cut the Carnifexes unless they're like a very specific reason. We're going to want to cut the Ripper Swarms, which means that we're at 220 points. And believe it or not, yes, we are going to cut the Sporocyst. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm sorry. So that's going to be 365 points. Man, it's just like raining outside all of a sudden. 365 points. And then things that like we immediately want to add. One, we want to bump this Zoanthrope squad up to 6. Times 6. And that's going to bring us down to 265. And then we want to think if we're like super leaning into this battle. You said you wanted to do some battle shock shenanigans, which would be cool. Oh, we don't have a Hive Tyrant. I think with Zoanthropes, you kind of have to have a Hive Tyrant because they're just so slow. Hive Tyrant's 190, so it would be 200 with Synaptic Control. Oh, Synaptic Control 20? Oh. Well, we would just add the Hive Tyrant, which I think is 190 points. Am I right, chat? Hive Tyrant, 190. And then, honestly, in my opinion, we swap this and put it here. Well, actually, maybe we don't. The 40 Termagants in Synaptic Nexus is very interesting. It's 195. Thank you. Appreciate it. Dude. So that means we have 70 points to play with. Okay. And then we do Venom Thropes. Actually, that sounds kind of sweet. So Venom Throws, I don't think need to be 70 points, right? I think we can. Yeah. Oh, K-Rib. Oh. Yeah, this is a very interesting list. Another thing that we would look at is like Death Leaper. Like if we want to lean into Battle Shock, I think Death Leaper is very good as well. But the Termagants in Synaptic Nexus is kind of spicy. I like it because you just 5 of invulnerable save, -1 to hit. Seems sweet. Seems cool. And them advancing seems good as well. And of course, I think I've said this before, but I love Hormagaunts in Synaptic Nexus. I have yet to try a 20-man squad, but whoa, Battle Barn. Thank you. You guys are popping off. I appreciate it, man. What are your thoughts on Zoanthropes? I'm considering them for Vanguard, Subterranean. So keep up the awesome content. Thank you, man. Keep up your awesome content as well. I was talking to my buddy Kyle, and he said that I have a toxic relationship with Zoanthropes, that I love them one day and then I hate them the next. I don't know, because if you think about it, it's 305 points for the brick. Like, and I have done Vanguard Onslaught with 1 squad of Zoanthropes, and they just bounce and then they die. But that's also dice, you know. I think on paper they seem really, really good. And Subterranean Assault, I think you run them. I played one game recently where I put out Zoanthropes. They nuked something, and they were threatening being able to jump around the table for the next turn. So, like, opponent had to deal with them. I think they're good in Subterranean Assault. In Vanguard Onslaught, I'm having a hard time deciding whether I like Zoanthropes or like 2 Exocrines, right? Because if you're gonna run a Neurotyrant in Vanguard Onslaught, I think you run 6 Zoanthropes. But if you're not running a Neurotyrant and you're pretty like set on that, then I think instead you run 2 Exocrines. Because I think the main reason you run Zoanthropes in Vanguard Onslaught is because you want to pop transports and you want to pop vehicles that the Gene Stealers don't really want to. So then you just decide, if you're running a Neurotyrant, then you bring 6 Zoanthropes and you like kind of pick them up and teleport around the table. Otherwise, maybe 2 Exocrines will just do it. But thank you for the support, man. All right. Last but certainly not least, K-Rib. Thank you again, K-Rib, for the super chat. Really, really appreciate it. And oh, it's K-Rib Re, and it's Respawn Gantz. Very nice. Very nice. And Invasion Fleet. Man, a lot of like Termagant lists. Very interesting. We have Death Leaper, Neurotyrant, Tervagon. This is the 3rd Tervagon on stream. It's wild that it just happened like that. Then we have a Winged Hive Tyrant. Thanks, Battle Barn. I actually love Winged Hive Tyrant in like Termagant builds. And I'm assuming that that's what we're going to have here. We have 2x10 Hormagaunts, 3x10 Hormagaunts, and we have 80 Termagants. Oh boy. Then we have Gene Stealers, 20 Gene Stealers, Mouse Scepter, Neurolictor, Venothrops. Yeah. That seems pretty good. I think didn't who ran something like this at Worlds? I forget who it was, but somebody was at Worlds and ran a list very similar to this, and they did very, very well. Sam Pope, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it worked for him. So this is like providing a couple of different really annoying stat checks for your opponent. Like 80 Termagants is very annoying. And like 2 different sources of regrow, like because you're going to free strat the winged, you're going to free strat 2 Termagant squads each turn to get D3+3 back. And you're going to do like -1 attack to them. You're going to be able to regrow 3 different squads. That's pretty good. Now, here's the thing, and I'm interested to see this and whether or not you've tested it. And you said you're taking to a GT, right? I would be interested to see if you actually need to regrow 3 different squads. I mean, I guess you could just like double stack 1 squad as well. But like, I'm thinking of whether or not splitting this Tervagon to 2 Broodlords to put devs on the Gene Stealers would be worth it, you know? And I don't know how much testing you've had and when the GT is, but that is something that I would probably be interested in testing. Because in my opinion, in a knee-jerk reaction, I would think just 2 Broodlords with the Gene Stealers is like really, really amazing. And then like, is the Tervagon a win more source, or is it like something that helps the synergy? You don't have to, but it's really nice to extend regrow threat range. I get it. Yeah, but that's like my only question. I think this is sweet, and I would my buddy Tucker, he plays a lot of Horde armies, and he says with like Horde armies, you just have to know what you're doing with them, because one of the things that people are always worried about is like clock with Horde armies. And he told me, I was talking to him about it, and he said that most of the time that you spend playing the game is thinking about what you're about to do. It's not actually doing the thing, right? So if you have a game plan with what you want to do and where you're going to put it, then you'll be fine, right? But also make sure that you have a very, very definitive and defined game plan. That's awesome, man. I really hope that you have some success and have a good time at the GT. It is also matchup dependent. Yeah. Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you. You're legends. I really appreciate all the support today. This is a great stream. So thank you for coming out. I'm not sure if we will be streaming next week. I'll have to look at my calendar, but I'll let you know on the community post. Fingers crossed for some 11th edition hype tomorrow night. Also, another fingers crossed, maybe like a rules update. You know, while we're crossing our fingers, we can hope for other things too as well. Regardless, I will see you very soon. I'll be making some videos and putting them out this weekend. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.